like to call to order the City of Cherryville's regular city council meeting of Monday, March the 10th, 2025. At this time, I would like for everyone to stand for our invocation by Pastor Bobby Holtzclaw of Cherryville Christian Fellowship Church, followed by our Pledge of Allegiance.
Let us pray. Father, we come to the throne of grace today, and we thank you so much for your love and care, your goodness, grace, and mercy. We thank you for this city that we live in, this place that we call home, and we ask your richest blessings upon it, Lord. We thank you.
I want to welcome everyone that's here tonight and those that are following us through social media. We welcome you too. I'm glad to see some of our old favorites back that hasn't been with us for a while, so it's good to have everyone here. The first item on our agenda is the approval of the agenda as presented. What is the council's pleasure on approving our agenda?
Make a
Bids from the county to begin construction. Improvements to upgrade the museum continues from the board and its volunteers. However, some anonymous individual has contacted the county trying to get the work halted by stating the proper permits have not been completed. The board is working on getting this issue resolved, and of course the city continues to support the board in its efforts. The renovations at Randbar Park is nearing completion. 2 more pickleball courts have been installed, as well as upgrades to the basketball court. Hopes are that the courts will be used a great deal more since warmer weather is coming. Basketball season has wrapped up at the Larry and Carolyn Summer Recreation Facility. Over 200 kids participated in this year's program. Thanks go out to Recreation Director Lance Hudson for a very successful program. We continue to urge our citizens to use the new gym as an exercise program that will benefit all. Last week, Councilmember Jill Pewitt and I attended a breakfast at Home Folks Cafe with members of the National American Legion Baseball Committee. Discussions were about the possibility of our city being a big part in the future of American Legion baseball in our area. The Cherryville Chamber of Commerce hosted a ribbon cutting for the new Dollar Tree store located beside Ferguson Ace Hardware. The mayor and 3 of the city council members were part of the large crowd in attendance, in addition to many of the chamber members and city officials. The chamber will be hosting another ribbon cutting on March the 20th at 11:30 a.m. for the Georgia Bees Boutique located beside the Cherry Pit on North Mountain Street. And finally, on this coming Thursday, I will be attending the Main Street Conference in Mooresville, North Carolina. City Manager Dalton and many of our staff will be in attendance to support our electric and public works departments that will be receiving awards. And this concludes the mayor's comments for this evening. We'll move on to item 8, citizens to be heard. Now, any citizen that would wish to speak may do so by coming to the podium, stating your name and address, and remember comments will be strictly held to 3 minutes for each person. And do I have anyone that has signed up with?
No one has signed up, Mayor.
No one signed up to speak. At this time, do I have anyone that would like to speak? Any citizen that would like to speak at this time?
I do.
Lynn Ward? Just state your name and your address.
Lynn Ward, 137 Moselle Road, Cherryville. I'm here tonight over the graveyard. I got a call Friday that the flowers were being took off, and we had fairly new flowers on our graves. And the sign had told us that was posted that it would be April the 4th. Well, it was March the 7th. And by the time I got over there, the graveyard scalped. I went to City Hall to talk to Paige. She wasn't there. And I left my phone number, and she called me, and I talked to her and Brian both. Didn't like their attitudes, which my attitude had got ruffled up by that time. But I seen today where they'd put an apology out, blame it on the Veterans Walk Across America, the veterans. I attended that day when it was done at the graveyard. The family members got their wreaths and put them on their loved one, their veterans' graves. Well, if that was what was supposed to be took off, they weren't that many to take off to begin with. But the trash truck was seen at the graveyard taking all the flowers off. 3/4 of the graves have no flowers now. And when I talked to Brian, he asked me did I know the cost, what it costs to keep up the graveyard over there, the maintenance of it. Told him no, but I wasn't worried about the maintenance of it. I was concerned about the flowers being pulled off. And I told him, well, as far as maintenance, when you go over there, the fire ants eat you up. You got graves that are sinking that need dirt. You got head rocks that are tilted that need to be pulled up and dirt put under it. That's considered maintenance in my book, too. Most family members, they keep up their graves. If they put flowers out, they take them back up and change them out, unless somebody has deceased from it. Then I get another phone call, but I can't remember if it was the first phone call or the second phone call where it was throwed up to me about Arlington Cemetery, about being the most respected cemetery, around. I understand that. That's a military cemetery. We're talking about our family members that we're keeping up, that we're paying the flowers, paying for. And when I told him I wanted reimbursed, I understand you're not gonna be able to reimburse me, but the apology don't get sent out to Monday, when all this was done Friday morning. And I didn't like the way the attitude was on the phone with me. Because this is not my first time I've had problems with the graveyard over there. And you know, things need to be addressed better over there. I mean, as far as any time something happens, it's always somebody else's fault. Like when somebody else got buried in my plot next to my son, it was the grave digger's fault. Well, the way I see that, they give the number to the grave diggers to dig. I mean, it's something constantly. But I think, I'm not sure how to go about, how I really think about everything, but I think that when you call and you got a complaint, and that over there was a major deal to me Friday. I mean, that was a big deal. Not only to me, but I think a lot of the citizens of Cherryville. They have loved ones over there, you know, that, I mean, I think the apology should have been done Friday, and the whole situation could have been avoided. I mean, if the guys they took what Chris had told them to do, and they didn't understand it, well, they should have been checked on at some point in time instead of having 3/4 of the graveyard done before they got stopped. And that's just my thing. I mean, I'm just upset with the whole ordeal of it.
Yeah, I understand your pain, I really do. I can't change it because it's already happened, but I do hope you will accept our apology. We made a mistake. We know that. We have a committee, cemetery committee, that is volunteer members on there. And we do plan to meet with them and see that this doesn't happen again. But it was a mistake. I don't think there's anybody that's walked this earth but one man that didn't make a mistake.
I understand that.
And-
I understand.
and
But
I
when you
do
make a mistake, you own up to the mistake. You don't try to cover it up. I mean, send me a little article policy about fresh flowers have to be off in 6 weeks. Other flowers have to be, fresh flowers have to be off in a week, and other flowers off in 6 weeks. Well, the city don't know when the flowers was put on there to begin with. And telling me that they have the right to go over and pull them off. Well, they don't know when they're put on there.
And
And
know,
also, like with the clean off Christmas, the clean off was done 2 weeks before Christmas. 80% of the graveyard over there done had Christmas flowers on it. The families had to go over and take the flowers off on a Thursday night for the cleanup to be Friday, and then return the flowers back out on Saturday. If you're gonna clean it off for Thanksgiving. Because most people, if they have family here, they'll come in for Thanksgiving dinner and put their flowers out. Because most of the time, if they live out of town, they stay home with their own families on Christmas. You just don't wait 2 weeks before
yeah,
Christmas to do
and
it.
I agree with you. I think there's problems we have had and that we will address them. It will go through that committee, and I think we do post on our website the dates that we do the cleaning off. And I know this was not posted, and like I said, all I can do is apologize for
Yeah, what was posted was April 4th. It
Yeah.
would be done April 4th.
it, and it was
You know,
done just about a month earlier.
Yeah.
But
Miss Ward,
Yeah.
if I can, I want to agree with you. This was a mistake by the city, without a doubt. They made a decision to go over and get the wreaths across America, but they did more than they should have. Absolutely.
But when I talked to you on the
We'll take-
first phone call,
Well, I didn't know all the details. but
Right,
As I
right.
kept gathering facts.
and you was
and I
throwing
kept-
it back at me,
When
throwing
I-
up the Arlington Cemetery
but
and
what I-
all this. I mean, you know,
what-
your attitude I didn't like. I mean, you wasn't sympathetic at all.
I am sympathetic, I promise you that. I promise you.
I
I'm
mean, my
sympathetic.
mom and daddy and son,
Every one of my family members is there too, ma'am. They
well,
are. I promise you, I am
But it's hurtful
sympathetic.
for us,
But
because
I-
that's the only thing we can do for our families is put a flower
Okay.
out.
All I'm saying is our policy is a very bad policy. I
Yeah.
will own up to that. It's a terrible policy, in my opinion, and it's putting all this discretion on an employee that goes out there to make a determination. That's not fair to that employee. That's gotta change. And that's where the cemetery committee is gonna come into play. We will go to the committee, and you are more than welcome to come sit in on that meeting with us.
Well, I'd like
I
to be
have no
notified
problem.
when the meeting is.
I will be glad to let you come sit on it. And my opinion is, this needs to come down to a situation to where we can't send people out to clean up the cemetery and them use their discretion on what flower still looks good or what flower's in season. It's gotta be a situation, in my opinion, that if there's a flower in a vase, we leave it alone, period. That's my belief. Now, cemetery committee might not agree with me. I don't know. But it's gonna be hard to put that type of burden on an employee to go out. And
Well, that's like before, when they had dug a grave behind my parents and the mom and daddy's head rock was covered in red mud, and the head rock hadn't been down no time. And I called up to the city about getting it cleaned. And y'all told me it had been cleaned. And I come up there. And I went over there, and it hadn't been cleaned, and I come back and brought you some pictures about it. Jill went over there and took water herself and cleaned that head rock.
I can't speak to
So-
that specifically because I don't know. But I will tell you, I agree with you. It's a bad policy and we gotta do better. And we'll get better at it. We will. This is, this is not something that is just now happening. We've dealt with these issues every single year. And we're gonna figure out a way to get it better. It's going to. I
Yeah.
assure you of that.
The graveyard needs to be monitored better all the way around, the whole situation. That's all I gotta say.
Okay. Thank you for your comments, Lynn Ward. Anyone else, any other citizen like to speak at this time may do so. Okay, if not, we'll move on. Item 8 is special recognition of a city employee's years of service. And at this time, I would like to ask Mr. Brian Williams if he would come forward. I love doing these. Come on up here, Brian.
Well, it's some kind of record for me. I've never worked nowhere, Ted.
Well, this is from the City of Cherryville certificate. This certificate is awarded to Brian Williams in recognition of 10 years of service to the City of Cherryville. It's signed by Brian Dalton, City Manager, and H.L. Bean, the Mayor. Congratulations, Brian.
Thank you very much.
And you doing a good job, still are doing a good job.
Appreciate that.
Brian is our supervisor down at the water plant, and he's done a good job. If you want anything you wanna say, you can.
We won the AWOP award again.
Yep.
I would just like to say, it's my pleasure to serve the citizens of Cherryville, and I hope I can get it 5 more years.
Hey, Brian. Brian.
Thank you. Appreciate what you do, buddy.
He has done a good job.
Thank you, Brian. Appreciate you, buddy.
Okay, we'll move on to item 9 on our agenda, and this is consideration of our video recordings at city council meetings. Our city manager, Brian Dalton, will lead us through this. I think it was discussed at our work session, but it was tabled at that time for us to get more information. And so, Brian?
Yes, Mayor, Council, we discussed this at the work session last time, and this began when COVID took place, and obviously the public could not come to meetings. And it was brought up, you know, do we want to continue this service or not now that COVID has passed and, you know, the public is open to coming to the meetings? And also that Wise News Network typically does broadcast all of our meetings as well. So it was brought up, do we want to continue this service or not at the work session? And like you said, it was tabled to make a decision for tonight.
Okay. I will open it now for discussion from our council members. Does any council member have any comments they would like to make at this time concerning the video recordings?
John has done an excellent job. We appreciate everything you've done. But I think it's time to move on and not offer it anymore. I know John here has talked to John, and you're agreeable that it's okay with you that we discontinue it.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a privilege. I think there's a lot that I could say, and like Mr. Dalton pointed out, you know, we started this with, at that time, city manager Jeff Cash, and the level of professionalism that he had, and even Mayor, I think once or twice I tried to resign doing this, and Mayor came to my office and said, you know, don't do that. So, there's a lot that I could say about that, but you know, you guys are the one in charge, so happy to serve you, and it's been a great privilege, and we appreciate it, you know, but it's your decision
Appreciate
to
what
make.
you've done. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
As city manager just related, we did it mostly when COVID hit and people didn't want to come out and be mingling with other people. And we picked up a lot of people through the media that watch it. I've got, my daughters watch it every meeting, and it was just convenient for that. And I know we lost people like Rick Hudson and Tommy and Gus and everybody, Rich Bean. They all used to come to our meetings, and all of a sudden we lost all of them. And basically we were having council meetings with nobody but staff. And I do miss the citizens' presence. So I hope we pick them back up. We still have through Wise News Network, and thank you for what you do that gives our people that can't make it here a chance to watch our meetings. But
Hey, Joe, I would just like to thank John for all he does for our community, and your business is a great asset to our community, and I just want to thank you for all you do for our citizens.
I appreciate that. It's, like I say, it's our privilege to do it, to serve. This is where God has gifted us.
Yes.
And I know Rusty does a great job as well. I mean, I've talked to Rusty a little bit, just a tiny bit in the last few days. So, you know, going forward, we wish Cherryville all but the best. And I think as long as people have an opportunity to see what's happening in here, I think that's important, you know.
Well,
So,
we want you to
I
stay,
appreciate
because we
you
may
saying
need you in the future.
That's right.
We may need you in the future.
And let me also say, the job you've done with the equipment you have has been nothing short of amazing. I mean, you
Right.
really, he's come in and, you know, microphones wouldn't work or, you know,
Yeah, I
speakers
remember.
wasn't right. And you always seem to come in and be able to figure it out, and I appreciate it.
right, well, and, you know, we talked long ago, I appreciate you saying that. You know, at first, we were bringing in $25,000 worth of equipment. And so for what we charge you guys, it doesn't justify it. You know, we've had, I think at one point, a senator's daughter kicked over a camera, you know. You're not gonna be the one to tell the senator's daughter, be careful. But, so what we provide is, you know, to be easy on the taxpayer as well. And so, you know, until that money is there to do this better, it's just been our privilege, and wish you guys the best.
John, you've been a great community person, no doubt. And he helped out the American Legion tremendously this last year, and we've got 2 tournaments coming up back to back in July, so you'll be called on. I know, because he has helped us tremendously.
Appreciate that.
And And also remember the signs he does for the city. He recently did the sign at Edwards Park. A lot of good work.
Can't thank him enough.
Thank you, John.
Let's give him a round of applause.
Okay, I would now entertain a direction from council on consideration of the video recordings to be halted at this time.
I'll make a motion to that effect. I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to cancel the video recordings as of tonight from John Alfaro. Okay, any other discussion by any other council members? If not, all in favor of this motion, please say aye. All opposed, the same, and there is none. Okay, we'll move on to item 10. This is other business. At this time, do I have any other business that, from council, that needs to be presented to our citizens tonight? Councilman Freeman?
Yeah, appreciate what you've done at Rain Bar and the other parks, but just wanted to ask about,
I know what you're gonna say, the mulch. I told Seth yesterday, we're gonna order mulch for,
Okay.
Rotary Park probably this
Rotary
week.
Park. Yeah, thank you.
And what we're gonna do is we're gonna do it similar to how we did at the gym. We'll get the truck to come in, dump it there probably around the basketball court, and then we can move it to the playground. But
Yeah, I've
I,
got a citizen in my house that's really concerned about it.
hey, I met
Two
her,
little kids.
I met her yesterday at the baseball game, and,
Oh, okay.
she'll probably really enjoy it. She was wanting to go to the park yesterday, matter of fact, with Seth. So, yes, sir, we're gonna get that probably within the week.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
I have a question, I have a question.
Okay,
I don't know
Councilman Hovis?
if this could be to our city manager or to the police chief. Due to the number of accidents down there at the new Dollar Tree,
Mhm.
have we heard anything back from DOT?
We have. It looks like they were definitely gonna accept the recommendation that you all made, I guess about a month or two ago, to lower the speed limit.
They already are.
Yep, that's gonna be accepted. They're also looking at turning lanes and some other things like that, but we had another accident, I guess it was what, Thursday or Friday? Thursday? There was a pretty serious accident. I think they were pulling out of Dollar Tree and a car was heading west on 150 and hit them. So what Chief Walford and I were talking about Thursday is really, if you look at that area, it's not a great area to line up to put a stoplight. The way Dick Beam Road comes and the way you have your entryway to Ferguson's and Dollar Tree. But what we were talking about, was the possibility of DOT looking at, installing a roundabout. If we could put a roundabout in, that encompasses all of that. And I know people don't like roundabouts, but the goal is to slow the traffic down. And I don't know how else DOT is gonna be able to slow it down without doing something like a roundabout.
How many accidents has there been?
It's a minimum of 3, I know, right there.
One was a fatality,
One was a fatality, one was
and the one
extremely,
recently,
2 fatalities.
fatalities, the one recently was pretty bad, I saw a truck on its side.
Yes, yes.
And I know from working on MPO that federal government looks at the fatalities very closely.
Yeah.
And there's safety money that they allocate when there's a lot of fatalities in one area. But when you're coming from Lincolnton and that stoplight turns green, they hit the gas pedal. And that's one of the problems. And that roundabout, definitely 100%. I hate the one at Shelby.
Yeah. But there's
I
3
go
at
to the
Shelby.
wound clinic every week, and they've got them bam, bam, bam in a row, and I hate those things. But you cannot get up any speed in those things. That's the thing about it is, it slows you down.
After this wreck on last Thursday, after Chief Walford and I talked, I did send an email to the DOT engineer to see if that could be looked at as a possibility. I just don't know, like you said, if you're heading west on 150 and you make that light there at Walmart, I think those cars are just going too fast for the people turning out of Dollar Tree or turning out of Ferguson's to realize, and they get up on them pretty quick.
And even 45's not gonna help it that
It's
much, I
not.
don't think. Lowering
And
it 10.
even, and that's not to say they're gonna abide by it.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
you know,
right, that's right.
so,
And I've noticed they've changed a couple signs going east, now
Mhm.
say 45.
Oh,
and
okay.
both into 55.
so you've noticed some already changed. Okay.
But whether they pay that attention.
Yeah. So maybe we can get them to look at that as a possibility, but I don't know.
You know, and if the future plans materialize, there's gonna be another business right in there also.
And that's probably very likely.
And that, we hope that's very
Yeah.
likely, but that's just more
Correct. More traffic.
traffic.
Yeah, it's gonna be right on the corner there, and, yeah, it's just gonna create a bigger jam, so.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we can get, Division 12 engineer to look at that. If not, we can go through MPO and get federal money. And you get the feds,
Yeah.
they're there at those meetings.
Yeah, the 27th, we have a meeting there, and DOT 12 will be there.
Yeah. If we can get them on board, that would be great. We gotta get something looked at there.
Okay. All right, anything else from, council to bring up under other business? If not, how about staff? We have anything from staff that needs to come up?
Nothing further from staff.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Have a motion to adjourn. Do I hear a second? Have a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, there is none. We are adjourned.
Jumped the gun. I had to beat Gary.